I've seen homeboys act like this to girls. She said, "Who's the third person you killed?" I killed myself, baby. I was like, what?
Nah, what? I looked at Lucy Gray. I was in that movie theater like, oh girl. Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap food rise, got them on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Foop, joined by my co-host, Ryan. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other streaming service, make sure you hit that follow button so you can get updates from the mob.
And if you tributes are watching us on YouTube, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn those bell notifications for future uploads, and share it with another tribute so that they can join the game.
I don't think they would want to do that. Considering what we about to talk about.
It's for honor. It's for honor and glory. Represent your district.
Is it? I don't think so.
It's better than Saul, in my opinion.
Both are involuntary games. However, I think both are pretty bad.
Would you rather be in some of them Saul traps that we did red pill, blue pill for, or would you rather be in the Hunger Games?
You're still fighting for your life. If this is a test of which is the lesser evil, it comes down to: do you want to prolong your death, or do you want to make it quick? I don't know. You could win the Hunger Games if you just hide the whole time.
And I feel like the Hunger Games is quick. They just go for a kill. It ain't no bone marrow.
That's true. And then you do have however long until everybody dies.
Exactly.
I'm not justifying the Hunger Games, but I will say you have a bit more time to consider your options than if you was in one of Jigsaw's traps. Okay. Whatever. Whatever.
I'd rather play these games than the Jigsaw games.
I guess so. But as me and Ryan have already alluded to, we are here to do a mob review on the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which debuted November 17th, 2023. So before we get into the mob review, it's been a minute since Ryan has hopped back on a mob review. I've been having to do the whole intro by myself. So.
Sounds fun. Working them vocal cords.
I've been coming up with my clever little things, but I was like, okay, cool. Now I can only do the first half and not do the second half. So what's been going on?
Man, nothing. Just experiencing this white ass Black Friday because ain't none of these sales hitting like they used to.
Oh, they not. They not. And even the places that do have sales, they don't have no good stuff. I don't know what's going on with these Black Friday sales, but they not putting the stuff that needs to be on sale on sale.
Even the sales ain't real. I promise you, bro. I check my Amazon wish list about every 2-3 days or so. And I swear on Black Friday, ain't none of the numbers on my list change. But they all got a red tag that say Black Friday deal. In fact, now they saying Cyber Monday. And the price ain't changed.
What's that meme where it was like September $499. I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale. October $499. Nah, I'm gonna wait till it goes on sale. November Black Friday original price $699. Black Friday price $499. Oh yeah, it's on sale. Let's buy it.
That's facts, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. I bought some candles from Bath and Body Works. And they buy 3, get 3 free. So I'm like, okay, these candles used to be $25.99. Let me see if the math work. Now they $26.95 when I guess inflation done affected them. And I saw the lady put in them prices. It was like $13.47 a candle. I'm like, this that same $13.55. This candle, they always on sale for Bath and Body Works. All them candles be $13.55. Hey. Am I lying?
I don't be buying candles from Bath and Body Works, but I have, just going back to the meme, they making you think it's on sale, but they really just selling you for the original price they would have gave it to you anyway.
Look, bro, no, I got 1 cent. because you know it was a Christmas set with the woods, and so it was like balsamic something, and I was like, it's kind of fine. It's kind of fine. You know, I had to get my
He
mahogany
said
teak wood,
balsamic. He said balsamic something.
balsamic something. I like the woody scents, but I'm like, y'all capped off, bro. Y'all capping off this Black Friday. This a White Friday. Ain't nothing black about it.
He said it's White Friday.
Ain't nothing black about it, bro.
I ain't bought nothing. I bought a couple things for Black Friday. I got that I bought me some clothes for the cruise we finna go on in February. I bought that Sakura Sherpa jacket from Hypeland. And Amazon, the only things Amazon really had on sale was like household stuff. Or unless you're looking for some like electronics. Like I seen some monitors on sale, but I was like, I don't really need no monitors right now.
Some random stuff like the one company Quick Ball was $75, but I know the friend ball been like $75 for the longest, so I went on and copped the Quick Ball.
Okay.
But I don't think that's a Black Friday deal. I think that's going to be like $75 for like another month or two, just like the friend ball was.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about if people going to certain stores and the Black Friday sales not hitting, and I would have to agree. Black Friday not hitting.
I just saw a video. It was this girl. She was at Target, and she pulled out. You know how they got those little metal frames for like the sale stickers. She pulled out the Black Friday sticker, and right behind it was a sale, regular sale sticker, same price, just a different color, not even a different font.
You froze for a little bit. What you just say?
It was the same color, not even a different font. Well, different color, not but the same font.
That's crazy.
But
Thumbs down, Black Friday. Thumbs down. I've been chilling. Then had me a good Thanksgiving. Now it's snowing outside. I was going to go to the gym after this recording, but the snow has told me to stay my ass inside. So inside my ass will stay.
Gotta do one of them HIIT workouts in the living room.
Heck, nah, I'm finna do a workout called Sit My Ass Down and watch TV.
There we go.
Yeah, it's getting about that time. It's not bad. Like this some weak ass snow, as I like to call it, but it's about to get to that time where the snow finna start coming through. I'm not looking forward to it at all. But let's go ahead and hop into this mob review. So as you guys already know, all of our mob reviews are spoiler filled. So if you have not seen The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, or if you haven't seen the whole movie, make sure you hit pause on this video, go get caught up, come back, and listen to the rest of the conversation. So, we got a couple hot takes I want to run through. Let's start overall, and then we're just going to work our way into the depths of the movie. So, how did you feel about the movie overall, Ryan?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not the biggest Hunger Games fan. I barely remember anything from the previous movies because I think I only watched each of them probably once. They were cool, but this movie was so good it made me want to go back and watch them. But I don't see them on any of the streaming services I have, so it's gonna be a minute.
Dog, the movie just came out last week. They gonna let that sit for a minute.
No, I'm talking about the old ones. I'm sitting here like, usually like that promo be like when Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse dropped, the original Spider-Verse is like free on Amazon Prime. You know what I'm saying?
I've been seeing The Hunger Games. They on Hulu.
I just checked Hulu and they ain't there. I swear to God, I just checked Hulu.
Because I swear the last time I rewatched the whole Hunger Games series, and this was a couple months ago, they were all on Hulu.
I swear to God, like 3 days after I watched this movie, I checked Hulu and they weren't there.
Damn. Well, I don't know where they at now. It definitely popped up on my Fire Stick watch list, I guess, since I watched them on Hulu. But, well, I don't know where they at now. That's crazy.
But regardless, I enjoyed it. I ain't catch all the references that I saw people talking about on Twitter because I don't remember the older ones that much, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. This makes me want to get into the series more, honestly.
I would agree. I liked the Hunger Games series to begin with, but I definitely feel like this was, I thought this was a really good prequel movie to the series, and I caught all the references, and as we go through the discussion, I can bring you up to speed as we get into this conversation, but definitely enjoyed the references. I definitely felt like this was a nicely written. It's in my opinion one of the best written villain origin stories that I've watched too. Because as you go through the movie, like a couple of these motivations and relationships or everything are complex, because this whole movie is told from the point of view of President Snow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you knowing who President Snow turns out in the future. It's kind of like some of these things could be true. Some of these things could be biased based on his opinion. So some of these things you take with a grain of salt. But then in certain moments of the movie, it's like, damn. But the way that they portrayed all of the characters through his eyes and the way that we got to the end, this was definitely a damn good villain origin story. It definitely,
I like Snow.
And that's a low down dirty ass shame. I just want to let you know that's not good shit, Ryan.
I like Snow.
I just want to
I
let
ain't
you
gonna cap.
I just want to let you know that's not good shit.
I root for the villains a lot of times because I get sick of the heroes. And this one, Snow was the hero. I like Snow. He was fire.
He was a very good written, complex character in this movie. I was not rooting for that, man, because I was like, I know how you turn out in the future, and you're not a good person. And you could see like bits of his character showing throughout. Like I love the part where Viola Davis or Dr. Gaul, when she finally gets to him at the end, and she was like, you knew what you was doing the whole time. Whether you knew it or not, you knew what you was doing. And I was just like, yo, let's just go ahead and bring this full circle.
I feel like he's just misunderstood.
No, ain't nothing misunderstood about that.
He's brokenhearted.
No.
Shawty broke his heart.
Getting your heart broke. Let me say this. Getting your heart broke when you is 18 years old does not justify 60 plus years of you murdering children.
It was going to happen regardless. It's just he made it more fun.
No.
It was going to happen regardless. Viola Davis, her wicked self.
Not necessarily.
Suicide Squad.
Not necessarily though, because at the beginning of the movie, this was supposed to be the last Hunger Games, and had Snow not presented the idea of placing bets, marketing, all that PR and stuff like that, it was gonna be done.
All I'm saying is sometimes he needs a little bit of therapy. He needs
a little bit, a lot of it,
He probably needs some mentorship.
A lot of it.
But you know what? I feel like he's just misunderstood.
No. Maybe at the beginning, you could have been like, you know what, you just misunderstood. But by the time we got to the end of this movie, I was like, yeah, it's no turning back now.
Bro, let's get into it. Because I'm defending Snow. I root for the villains. This a villain I'm rooting for.
I don't think we should.
I am. I hope they do a part 2.
Just to start with Snow. The funniest thing I found in this movie is just the idea of classism and supremacy. How y'all looking down on the districts is less, and this man is broke at the beginning of this movie. Yeah, you living in the capital. Yeah, you living in the big city. But you and your cousin are whispering over eviction notices. The buttons on your shirt is made from the knobs from your bathroom. You don't bathe with soap. We seen him take a shower. All he did was rub water on his underarms.
You know what? I ain't gonna cap. I can't say that. I know this is Blurred, but I can't say that. I was sitting here. I was like, y'all ain't breaking the stereotypes.
Like,
I was like, this is a bad representation of a group of people. Because where the towel at? Where the loofah at? That man ain't have no soap.
He had no soap. When I tell you they are bottom boots poor. Living in the capital, bottom boots poor, and have the audacity to look down at the districts as lesser.
Look, bro. He lived there though. It's like you can, as long as you live in the suburbs, you can claim the suburbs. That's what you were doing.
I guess
when you live in the suburbs, at least I in the hood. That's what you're saying. I hear. He said, I don't hear gunshots outside my window.
I bet they. But they ain't got no guns though. The people in the district ain't got no guns. What are you talking about?
Exactly. He didn't hear no gunshots. He ain't in the hood.
I just said the people in the districts ain't got no gunshots. So even if he was there, what was he gonna hear?
Oh, they hearing that each other get shot up by them soldiers.
That same thing was happening in the Capitol.
Not like that though.
I guess.
It wasn't like that. Come on, it's not the same degree. Come on, like they got to do like a little couple of crimes from the folks in the Capitol messing with each other. Okay. But the district is going down. Folks, you can look outside your window and someone getting hung by the willow tree. Come on now.
Not every day though. That wasn't happening every day.
Not every other weekend.
Not every other weekend.
Like this payday.
He said not like it's payday. If it was, it just goes down to the fact that they was really like kicking down on the districts. Because the way they locked that lady in jail just for knowing the guy who was attacking the peacekeepers, I was like, this is crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like he might be dirt poor, but he ain't in the hood. And
that was just crazy to me. I was like, y'all don't even bathe with soap. Y'all finna get evicted. Your shirts, your cousin had to sneak your shirt in with the dirty laundry at her job so you could have a clean shirt. I was just like,
he put that fit on though.
He put that fit on though. I bet he stank though. But
he put that fit on.
But then just moving forward, I think that's what I like about like him coming out as a complex character, because when you see Snow in the Hunger Games, he all rich, all these suits and flowers, living like luscious, lavish, and then you see him starting out and the man dirt poor. And you could already tell it's one of those power grabbing stories just from the jump.
From rags to riches.
From the jump. It was like your whole thing is about to be about grabbing power. And the thing that made the story complex was the fact that he fell in love with Lucy Gray. But I was like, had she not been in the picture, or how you stood on your business that you going through this whole Hunger Games to get you some money, we would have ended up at this spot anyway.
Lucy Gray bad. I don't care. Lucy Gray, I get it.
She was dope.
Snow, I get it, Snow.
She was dope. I think my favorite quote from Rachel Zegler, who plays Lucy Gray, is that she described the difference between her and Katniss is that she was a performer who was forced to fight, whereas Katniss was a fighter who was forced to perform. And it just goes into like when you first like get introduced to her, like one, she wasn't even supposed to be picked for the Hunger Games. Like somebody set her up. And then she goes through this whole dramatic thing of singing this song. And it just plays into the fact that, yeah, we finna sell this right here. And I really liked her character. I liked that, one, I felt like she was still kind of mysterious going through because we didn't really learn too much about her. And with us going in knowing that she's a performer, though we are seeing some of these events from Snow's point of view, it's kind of like how much of this stuff is true, or how much of this stuff is he exaggerating just because of the way he felt about her.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, she gonna play you in the long run. If you gotta ask Shawty, is this real? I'm going through all of this for you. Is this real? I was like, it ain't real. Let it go, big dog. She playing you, big dog. She got a man at home. He said that song you played. Who was that about?
But I feel like, but she told him the truth about the song, though. You talking about the song that she sung on TV?
Yeah, and she was like, what happened to that guy? Oh, he long gone. He cheated on me or something like that.
Well, I feel like that was true, though. As we saw, as the events went on, I think that was true.
I would have had to check Shawty Instagram. I'd be like, let me see.
Not check her Instagram, not check her district status. Let me check.
I gotta find her following list versus follower list.
Let me check your district status. But I feel like that. I feel like that part was true. I think the part where he had to ask her, like, is this real, is because it's just going back to the classism thing. Like, I'm from the Capitol, you're from the districts. The only relationship we should have in this moment is that I'm your mentor and you're my mentee. And that this kind of relationship is already frowned upon. So it's like what you said, if I'm going to take these risks, I need to know that I'm taking these risks for a reason. And we can go into the fact that part of the reason he was doing it is not because he cared about her, is that he wanted that money. That was first and foremost. He wanted that money. The second thing is, I think they loved each other, but I think they loved each other under circumstance. Because obviously you would attach yourself to the person who is taking care of you. In this situation that you're in, where it's the whole thing of that in the games, you can't really trust anybody. And this guy is bringing you food. He's making sure that, you're good. He's coming up with all of these strategies and stuff, making sure that you're surviving the games. And if we look at their relationship and put that beside the other mentees and their mentors, you could see it as they got a close bond.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like their relationship is like, it's complicated because you can't just simply call it bad or good. Like I know people talk about power dynamics and stuff, which does play a part, but he's also like the poorest in his upper class. My whole thing is like, he was genuinely attracted to her. She was doubly beneficial. He liked her and she could help him get some money for his family. So it gives him a reason to like her more. And she's looking at him like, okay, I see this one girl treating another district person like a monkey, and he stabbed her in the neck or whatever. This guy, he actually brought me a sandwich. He ain't pestered me. He actually was like pretty decent. He sees some value in me. He keeping me alive. I'm sorry. I'm gonna like the person who keeps me alive if I'm fighting for my life. I'm sorry.
I just feel like it was a lower level of Stockholm syndrome. Because it's like you weren't gonna eat unless he brought you something. You weren't gonna be like. I think just because of what Snow grows into, I really think that he liked her for the fact that he had control over her. Like, you are alive because I put this in place for you to keep alive. You're eating this sandwich instead of this slop that they finna give you because I risked my neck to bring you a sandwich. And it was like, and from her point of view, it's like, it's just like you said, like, in her POV, this is the only guy who's caring about me. And in his POV, it's like, without
this
me.
The only person that's useful to me.
Right. And I think, and for the time during the Hunger Games, it worked. But I think what you were saying where the relationship got complicated is when they sent them both back to District 12. And it came back, and it was like, I don't really need you like that. And then Snow is trying to balance, do I want to run away with this girl? It's kind of that thing of like, do I really like you? Or did I just like you for the fact that we were stuck in this high intensity situation?
And that's true, because it's like when you go on that first date and it's super fire, but then you meet their family and you go on that fourth date and you're like, I don't think we align for real. Like, it was cool.
But not even meeting your family, like going back to your first date thing. You know how people kind of like, some people do, like kind of like tone themselves down for the first date. Because sometimes you don't want to put all the cards on the table.
Yeah, you show your best self first.
And then you go on the fourth date or you go on the fifth date and then they start showing more and more of themselves. And it's like, hold on. Because like when Snow got into District 12, that man showed so many red flags. I was like, girl, you need to leave him now. I wouldn't even told him I'm finna leave District 12. I would have just left. The way that scene where they got to arguing in that back room and he just walked off in there and shot that man's daughter, I was like, whoa.
He was on edge, bro. That man was trigger happy.
I was like, whoa. I was like, all this, it goes back to the control thing. Because even after that, like, Lucy Gray is shook. Like, in that moment, I definitely would have left. Because like now you're being batshit crazy. But he was like, he's trying to steady holding on to the fact, like, I'm doing this to protect you. Like, you know me, like I protected you in the Hunger Games. So this is just the same thing. And then you slowly start to see Lucy Gray realize, like, nah, dog, this is not the same thing. Like, there's really something wrong with you.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it made you question, because it's like, he has a right to be nervous. You got to give him that. Like, he's completely out of touch. He's back in the hood. Everybody talk down about these folks in the district, talking about the war and everything. I'm not saying he did good. I'm not saying he was okay in what he did, but I understand why he may be on edge. But you about to jump off the ledge. You too far on the edge.
My thing is that when Snow got into District 12, you could openly see him like teetering between staying loyal to the Capitol and wanting to be a rebel like Lucy Gray. And it was like one scene, he's recording Sejanus talking about he finna sneak these people out of District 12, and then you turn around and you shoot the mayor's daughter to so-called protect Sejanus and them from their secret being get out that they finna leave District 12. And it's like, if you were gonna do that, why you send the recording back to the Capitol?
But that's the thing. He's trying to figure out which route is the best for him. But at the end of the day, it's also like you either all in or you all out, because it's one way or the other. You either support the Capitol or you don't. You only got two choices. He tried to find like that gray area, but that don't work. That don't work. Especially since you from the Capitol, that ain't working. Either you gonna be like your friend and support the district, or you gonna snitch on everybody.
I think it just goes back to the fact that he was power hungry. Power hungry. He wanted to be in the Capitol, have his place in the Capitol. He wanted power over Lucy Gray. Like, I think his whole perception of love is just twisted to begin with.
It could be, but is it his perception of love or just his perception of that relationship because that's the only one he had? Because you know what I'm saying? When he his day in life, he came from poverty. So the stuff happened with his dad. His family relied upon him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still has love in his heart. Like, he still has great qualities. Like, I want to protect my family. I want them to be okay. I'm also over here, and they going broke over there. I don't know how they doing. But I also want this little girl I like. I also want a girlfriend. I think it was complicated. Like, I think it was he wanted his cake. He got his cake and he wanted to eat it too. That's what I'll place him as.
I would say at a point in time, maybe his perception of how he saw that relationship was twisted. But let's talk about the end though, when he so-called believed that Lucy Gray left him. And they leave this ambiguous in the book too. We don't know if she left, like if she was like flat out like, I was gonna leave you anyway, or maybe she was out there picking that stuff and he just started acting a fool, shooting guns in the air, and then she left.
I'm gonna be honest. That scene was very ambiguous because I immediately interpreted, oh, she abandoned that man because she had the snake under the scarf.
But I've been seeing theories that maybe she didn't leave the snake. I mean, they was in the forest, so how they know the snake didn't crawl under the scarf? They also said that he may have been hallucinating that snake because he also hallucinated her running through the woods. Remember when he thought he saw her and he shot her? She was wearing the hallucination he saw. She was wearing the same dress that she was wearing in the Hunger Games and not the outfit she had on when she left them. So they saying that he might have snapped, because if we want to rewind, when they made it to the cabin and he was looking for the fishing rods, he found those guns and he had looked at her. First of all, he's holding this gun like it's a fresh newborn baby. And he looking at her like, you're not going to snitch on me, right? And she was like, no, I'm not going to tell. I'm finna go outside. So now he's already now, like you said, he's getting back nervous. He's getting back on edge. So now the relationship is turning. So then he goes outside. This snake then bit him. She's running through the woods, playing with him. And really, he could have just been hallucinating the whole time and just shooting guns in the air.
But she really did leave, though. That's the thing. So she did leave.
She did leave, but it's up in the air of, did she leave because, one, he lied to her about how many people he actually killed. Two, the way it went down with them guns. Or three, did she really go out and go pick that stuff like she said? Heard this man hollering and screaming, shooting guns in the air, telling I'm gonna kill you, and then deal.
Hey, hold on though. We can't glance over that first one because that miss was so smooth. I was like, I've seen homeboys act like this to girls. She said, "Who's the third person you killed?" I killed myself, baby. I was like, what?
Nah, what? I looked at Lucy Gray. I was in that movie theater like, oh girl, if you don't see that this man is lying to you, there's something like that was the worst. That was the worst line ever. The worst line ever.
Look, bro, I cringe every time I see some of my homeboys like shoot they shot at girls and talk to them or whatever. I cringe at some old messages I used to send. But when I heard that, I was like, I seen some dudes try this before. I was like, he one of them.
I
He
was
one of
like,
them dudes, bro.
he tried to be one of them dudes.
He tried it, bro.
Cause she pressed his ass. She was like, "Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me." And he was like, "I killed myself." I was like, "Boy."
What book did you get that out of?
I was like, "Girl,
did you get that
if
from?
Lucy Gray, look, if Lucy Gray left him off jump, I'm not mad at her. I'm not. I'm not. I ain't mad.
Was so funny.
If she left him off jump,
look,
I'm not mad at her. At
that
all.
was so funny. Buddy thought he was running game. He thought he was running game. I killed myself.
And it was like he's been manipulating and controlling people this whole time. And he just thought he was gonna slide in one more little line and keep it. But my whole thing is like, dog, she been lying and bullshitting people her whole life. You can't bullshit no bullshitter. Like she know what you about. She done lied and sung and performed her way through this whole Hunger Games. Like you is level 1.
Look, singing to them stakes like she a Disney princess. She got it though. She did that.
Hey, but that was cold too. About how
she did that.
They were smart. But speaking about them snakes, let's get into this supporting cast. Viola Davis's character?
Hey, bro, I didn't even recognize her as Viola Davis. The costume was on point. Her acting was on point. Give her a Grammy. Viola was on point in this movie.
The whole supporting cast, Hunter Schafer as Tigris, Viola Davis as Dr. Gaul, Peter Dinklage as Highbottom, and Sejanus. I think every character in this movie deserves something for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Dr. Gaul, like that's like pure evil reincarnate.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is what, yeah, I guess you could see the influence of where Snow, as he progresses, he gets all of these sick thoughts and everything from. And like, if we want to talk about how the Hunger Games is now, at the end of the movie, he's the apprentice under the game maker. So the reason why they get into these elaborate arenas, the way these weapons go, the way the training goes, the selection goes, the PR and everything, that's all him. And he learned that from her.
But that's my thing. And then it's not just he learned, they worked together. She was listening to his ideas. So like even her adding the snakes and them sending them water and everything with the drones, like what happened in the movies? Like they start making storms and artificial forest and everything else.
They had gas. What was it catching fire when they made that gas that like burns, like gives them like the poison that gave them 3rd-degree burns and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if y'all thought I thought that was crazy. But then like them snakes, and it's like seeing where all of that stuff comes from was interesting to me, because I seen that whole tub of snakes and I was like, girl, and she just made them for fun. This gonna get them. Yeah. And she
didn't want to let baby girl live either. She was just sitting sitting there with a stank face. Like,
first of all,
not you telling me to save her.
I think she realized real quick what had went down. And she was just so mad. She was like, ain't no way. I think she was just standing there in disbelief. She didn't care whether that girl died from the snakes or not. She was like, ain't no way.
She was like, this snowman beat me. He beat me?
He said,
at my game?
Right. She was like, ain't no way. But I truly liked her character. I like that. Even though like Snow's character started off a bit complicated at first, like there's a lot of people who stood on business. Like you could see where a lot of his influences come from. And that was one of the influences that he had. And like even throughout the games and all that, so she stood on her business.
She did.
I definitely like Viola Davis's character in this one. Peter Dinklage, he was just a hater. He was a hater.
Tyrion was a hater.
He was a hater. Now, one thing I'm not mad at Snow about is when he poisoned that man at the end of the movie, because you were a hater. You were a hater.
You were.
He was like, I wrote up the Hunger Games as a joke, and your dad stole it from me, and this is how the Hunger Games started. And I was like, well, yeah,
You
maybe he
still
shouldn't
wrote
have
it?
stole it, but you still wrote it. You
Like you
my
saying it's
whole
a joke, but let's talk about your privilege. Let's look at you.
like you
You
said,
sat here and jokingly said genocide.
we
Whoa,
talk about it.
whoa.
I was just finna say that you didn't sat here drunk and jokingly wrote up a whole plan to have the district's children taken and put in an arena and kill themselves every year for entertainment, and you wrote it off as a joke.
Look, fool. If you and me ever go to a party and we drink it, and you say, "Bruh, just imagine if I was actually saw it, I just kidnapped folks from foster care or something and put them in the game." I'm like, hold on now, hold on
Somebody's
now.
going to jail.
I
Somebody's
am a
going to jail.
I believe in a drunk man or woman never lies. I believe in that. I'm
What's that
sorry.
saying? Drunk minds speak sober thoughts. You weren't joking, big
That's
boy.
I don't believe you lying. So you over here saying it was a joke? No,
It wasn't no
no.
joke. You just mad that you didn't get the credit for it, or
You just mad you didn't get paid.
He got mad because he got stuck with it, and he had to fully enact on this idea. But my whole thing is, why would you write it up in the first place? He was like, then you so mad that you got stuck with this position for the next 10 years. You're trying to keep the man poor. He was a hater. He was.
He was mad.
I feel like
He
the
was
only
mad.
person. I feel like the only he wanted the Hunger Games to stop just so he could get that burden off his shoulder. Like he wanted it to stop for selfish reasons. I think the only person who really wanted the Hunger Games stopped for a true purpose was Sejanus.
Sejanus, yeah.
He was the only person who really wanted the Hunger Games to stop, like real shit. Everybody else was kind of like, no, because, you know, I want this scholarship, I want this money. Peter Dinklage wants this to stop, but that's just because he can clear his conscience.
Mm-hmm.
And then Snow wants it because of money. Dr. Gaul just wants it so she can keep having fun and see what's the next sick thing she could come up with to put in the Hunger Games. And he was the only one who really wanted it to stop.
But I also feel like Sejanus was a beautifully written character.
Mm-hmm.
Only because of how a story ended. Like, being honest, it gave me... Like, you know, back in the day, only Game of Thrones is one of the real franchises like that took a risk of being like, we're going to kill off the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that that's how his story ended, because it showed you that being good ain't all it takes to win. You know what I'm saying? Having good morals and good values ain't all it takes to win. You gotta be methodical. You gotta be strategic. And Snow, even though he went crazy, he had luck of the draw. That Baird set him up. He set up Sejanus. Sejanus, you trusting your homeboy? And you over here trying to be a rebel? Why you trusting this man?
Yeah.
Why you trusting this man? Honestly, these birds recording information and you know it, and you over here talking to him?
I think that was another relationship, like, forced to be forged by circumstance. Because Snow says it at the beginning of the movie, like, that's not my friend. But he saw, just like we said, Snow made a lot of decisions in this movie that was beneficial to him. And being friends with Sejanus, them being the only two from the capital in District 12 as peacekeepers, him nurturing that relationship was beneficial to him. But also,
then it got unbeneficial.
Right, when he saw it becoming unbeneficial, that's when he started teetering between these lines, like, do I stay loyal to the capital, or do I chill out in the district and let Sejanus do his thing, and I just run off with my lady friend, and, you know, we call it a day.
Not lady friend.
That was his lady.
That's what your auntie on Thanksgiving call her?
No, not lady friend. That's just your friend. They just say friend. They don't say that's your little friend.
They put little friend.
They put little friend. But him and his lady friend run off. I just feel like, but definitely, they definitely did not like give anybody any grace in this movie, whether you were a good character or a bad character. Nobody got any grace. And we saw that with the Hunger Games itself. Like, in every Hunger Games, you have, of course, overall, we feel bad for the tributes because of what the Hunger Games is about. But then when you actually get into the games, we go a level deeper, and then it turns out to be some tributes that you don't really fool with. And it wasn't any different in this one, where they had that clique of tributes who were trying to kill everybody, and then you just had the clique of tributes like Lucy Gray and the rest of them who were just trying to survive. And when it came
Yeah.
down, when them snakes dropped, and that tribute that was like, is it over? Can we go home? And she was the first one taken out by all them snakes.
She got ate up.
I was like, po baby. Like
And
some of these folks, like, when I was looking at the games, I was teetering through the emotions like, they ain't deserve that. That's messed up. But then when it came down to them folks that was trying to kill everybody, and when they got their ass handed to them, I was like, that's good shit.
But here's the thing. Were those people working with the assailants who also blew up the arena? Because my whole thing is, once you're in this game, you stuck there. Like, moral ambiguity and ethics and all that. Like, bro, you in an arena. Either y'all kill each other, or someone else gonna kill you. Yeah. Honestly, you gotta fight for your life. It ain't no you can't be morally good. You can't be morally okay. And the shawty who was leading the thing, she wasn't like the strongest person up in there. There was some big old brothers up in that arena.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to click up with some people. I wasn't mad.
I feel like they were just falling, because I really feel like, because when we get in further in the Hunger Games series, like, it gets to the point where, like, basically all the tributes refuse to fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're just so caught up in, because the Hunger Games is still early. Like, this is the 10th one. We know by the time we get to Katniss and them, they done had about 70 Hunger Games or whatever by the time we get to Katniss and them. But I think with it being so fresh, and the fact that the whole theme has been kill or be killed, and not really that performance type, they really haven't dived into like the PR, the Met Gala type Hunger Games that we get into the future. So it's really hard to like separate, trying to separate that kill or be killed mentality to just like, you don't really have to win. Because at this point, when Snow introduced the idea, it's like, you don't have to win. People just have to like you.
Yeah.
But then you get in there and they can't separate. Like, you see, like, the other mentees are trying to, like, maybe you should change your hair, or maybe you should smile more, or maybe you should do this. And they just like, nah, dog, this is not what this is.
Exactly. I'm here to survive. I'm here to try to get out so I can see my family at the end of the day, and I got to do whatever I can to get there.
Right. So,
but
like,
it's hard to say who's a good guy in this movie. Like, I'm about to say
Sejanus.
Sejanus is probably one of the actual good guys, morally good people. Mm-hmm. A lot of other people are gray.
It's like, it shows like a complete full hierarchy. That there's complicated characters on every level. Like, even in the district level, like the girl in District 12, you sent Lucy Gray to go fight in the Hunger Games because you mad that her ex-boyfriend still like her. Like, you're not a good person. But then if you look at it overall, it's like you're one of the districts that's being oppressed. And it's like, it's multiple layers to this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like how all of this builds up and how all of this stuff is interconnected. But I also want to say about the Hunger Games is that jump was brutal. Actually, it was brutal. And you remember that part where they have to walk through like the turnstiles to get in, and every time, enjoy the show. I was like, if this ain't the most morbid piece of shit I've ever seen.
Like they playing in their freaking faces, bro. And shout out to Buddy who ran away, but he got caught.
Yeah.
Like they really just playing in your face, and this dude's like, "Oh, here go a blade!" Ah, like it's over with. Like, bro, you probably got a day to live. They got you in a zoo. Folks come up to you with a camera doing magic with a coin. Bloop. And that dude, he was funny. These folks over here playing in your face.
They are, and I remember when we were first seeing the trailers like this, it's like I was really interested to see the juxtaposition between how they treat the tributes in this movie versus how they treat Katniss and them. And like, Katniss and them riding on trains, they got these fancy ass beds. Like the situation is
good food.
It's like the situation is messed up overall. But like, they had these people transporting them in these trains that had these bugs in them, because you remember that boy got bit by that bug. Then 2, throwing them in the back of a SWAT truck, drive them to the zoo, and dump them down into the middle of some rocks. Talking about, come look at the tributes. They at the zoo.
Didn't even let him walk out. They didn't even let him walk out, bro. They just
rolled
rolled out.
out. They
Broke
just
broke a toe.
They just dumped them out. Like, they don't care what. They did not care what was happening to them folks. Then the arena. I think that was the part that truly shocked me, because I was like, oh, y'all really was just in here just to kill folks. Like, no, like this is a Roman gladiator Colosseum ring.
Exactly.
Like, you get in
with some old cameras.
Like, you get in, get out. Like, the way that it started, like when people were like dropping like flies, and it really comes down to the realization, like, they weren't never expecting this to last this long. Like, Katniss and them Hunger Games lasted for like days. Just because the landscape was so big, just because they had multiple places to hide, like the strategy was different. This was like, get in here, do your business, get out. Like, Hunger Games started at 12, it'll probably end about 12:30. Was probably the mindset that everybody thought walking up in here.
And to be honest, it shows why their ratings were low. These folks ain't trained. Their buddy got bit. Was it a bug or a bat? I thought it was he got rabies from a bat or something.
I thought it was a bug. It was some type of bug that gave him rabies.
These folks ain't trained. They already starving. They already sick. That ain't no. I hate to sound evil, but that ain't no good show.
Yeah, and that was the point that they were getting to. They were like, at first, it goes back to, you remember we were having that talk on Attack on Titan, about Attack on Titan, and how the anger of what Eren did is going to live outside of Paradise for a while, but then after the fact, it's not even going to be about Eren anymore. So it goes, so if we want to go back to when the Hunger Games first started, you know, everybody's like up in arms. Yeah, we want to see this because the district's been bombing the capital for whatever. We've been in this war. We lost all these people. Like, we angry. Like, yeah, put them in there and make them fight. But then you get to the 10th year and they were saying like people are bored. And it makes sense. And it's like, yeah, we're still upset about what the districts did, but are we that upset that we still want to sit here and watch this happen? And
exactly. Can we just leave them be at this point?
And they were this close to having the capital have a conscience. To like, we can end this for good, have a morally good conscience, and maybe we can turn some things around. They were this close of getting rid of the Hunger Games. And then Snow was like, what if we make it like the Met Gala? And now, here we go.
Let's make it a show.
Like, we were this, like, we was this close.
Honestly, though, like, I don't know if we're going to future proof. I would like to see a prequel, like where it all started, because I'm still a little like confused. Maybe I need to watch the other 3 of like the relationship between the district and the capital. Like, was the capital just like a imperial army that came over, took over all this land and just had their area? Like, how did it even get to that point to where they at war?
I don't remember if they talked about it, like how it all started in the original series. It sounds like to me that they were like the dominant superpower of the districts, and the districts rebelled, and that's how the war got started, and the capital took some heavy hits. And because the capital took these heavy hits, when they finally won the war, they was like, okay, bet, we finna show y'all something. Boom, the Hunger Games, peacekeepers.
So it's not like the districts are a part of their nation, but rather the districts are their territory, per se.
I mean, it's the nation of Panem. All of the districts are in Panem. But the capital is like the middle superpower. Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see how even that got started. Like, to be honest, they could do a whole nother prequel, and I'm going to watch it, because this was good. This is good.
I just really liked it of how everybody saw the Hunger Games, how Snow got started, and then like how this 10th Hunger Games was the switch that basically turned the ideal of the Hunger Games. Because if we look at what Katniss and Peter and them going to, they're going to dinner parties and stuff like that. Like, they don't have to fight for their life the next day. Like, it really allowed the capital to continue to dissociate or continue instilling that ideal of classism with the capital against the districts. Because just seeing how Snow and them was living, now you could see it that like in the capital, there's still people living that way. Still
Yeah,
people poor, showing up to these dinner parties and watching the Hunger Games and really just dissociating from the fact, well, at least I live in the capital, but you can't pay your bills.
exactly. You ain't no better than them. They all human.
Right. I thought it was a nice way to see how everything, like how it was before and how they turn. I've also found it extremely interesting is that after the 10th Hunger Games ended and all that stuff happened, they erased the 10th Hunger Games. There's no existence from it. They don't know what happened. They don't know who was there. Or they don't know who they tried to erase who Lucy Gray was and all of that. But the funniest thing about it was that the song, The Hanging Tree, that Lucy, we heard that song in Hunger Games Mockingjay. So let's go back. But that's the first time we heard this song. To find out that girl wrote it. Now imagine 60 years later, you just sitting in your crib and the teenage girl you beefing with starts singing a song that your ex-flame wrote 60 years ago. I know that man lost his shit.
He was pissed. He was like, how do you know her?
And the girl named Katniss, which is one of the last words he heard before she left. I know that man was pissed.
He was mad.
I know
that man
pissed.
He started drinking after that. He got a bottle of Jack. He was mad.
He said he finna bomb everybody. I think that might have been before he did that mass bombing in District 13. He said, I'm gonna show y'all some.
I'm gonna give y'all something to sing about.
I was like, this is crazy. I was like, ain't no way you held on to this beef this whole time.
The man was brokenhearted, bro.
He got his heart broke once when he was 18. This man then remarried, had grandchildren, got great-great-grandchildren. Why are you still mad at this lady?
Bro, you see these red pill YouTubers, these folks are still mad over middle school relationships. It happened, bro.
I just feel like at a certain point in time,
happened,
this is my point, saying that Snow was sick to begin with. He was just looking for a reason. You wanted this stuff to happen. You already had these plans in your head. And that's why I love that last scene when he shows back up to the Capitol. And Dr. Gaul was like, you convicted your friend because you wanted to be in this position. Snow's like, no, I didn't. And she was like, yes, you did. Whether you consciously knew it or not, you know why you made this decision. You just needed a reason.
You wanted to win. You wanted to be at the top. You wanted your money.
He was sick from the moment that he suggested that here's a new idea for the Hunger Games. We gon', make this seem like a Met Gala. I was like, you know what you're doing. You may not know what you're doing, but you know what you're doing. And when Lucy Gray left him and he snapped, I was like, all you needed was a reason. You not as good as you think you is. You just needed a reason. Like, he's trying to justify all this stuff. Like, why'd you make the Hunger Games like this? Oh, I just need money for my family. Why'd you shoot that girl? Oh, I just didn't want them. I just wanted to protect Lucy Gray, and I didn't want them to find out about Sejanus and them plan. Why you do this? Oh, I just wanted to do. Like, you keep trying to justify these things, and it's like, nah, dog, it's because you, deep down inside, you wanted to do this.
Look, bro.
You just needed a reason.
Snow, he just needs a little bit of therapy.
He needs a lot. He needs a lot of therapy.
He need a hug. He probably just needs to like go to his father's grave and go sit down and relax. He just needs a little bit of help.
He needs to go talk to somebody else. And I love the dynamic change between him and his cousin. Because that's really like nails it in the coffin of his full transition from what he was at the beginning of this movie into the President Snow that we're going to see throughout the next 60 years. Because this whole time, Tigris, fun fact, if you remember from Mockingjay Part 2, they end up staying with this lady named Tigris, but she looks more like cat-like. That's his cousin. Mm-hmm. And the theory is that he put her into the games as a stylist, so this is how the stylist thing gets going, like wearing the fancy dresses and stuff, because she used to make his clothes, make her own dresses and stuff. So he put her in as a stylist, and then he started giving her they assume that he started giving her like the animal injections to make her look more exotic and stuff like that as a stylist. And then when we get the Mockingjay, I guess he did so much of it that he didn't like the way he looked no more and kicked her out. But anyway, going back to
I need to watch the original trilogy because what?
You need to go back. You need to go back and watch the original trilogy, because I just don't feel like, I'm gonna get back to Tigris and Snow, but I just don't feel like getting your heart broken at 18 justifies anything that you did in these past four Hunger Games movie. It don't justify anything.
That part a little twisted. That part
a little twisted.
I wasn't aware of that.
But I'm just you need to go back and watch the 4 movies, and you just really need to understand the man that this man was exploiting. So let's go into the whole Met Gala thing. You are exploiting 12 to 18-year-olds for money and personal gain. 2, you are sending them in a arena and forcing them to like have this kill or be killed attitude, turn on each other, when essentially they should all be on the same side. Like, we're all getting F'd the same way. 3, he was sex trafficking some of them kids. Like, you gotta go back and watch those movies, because when they talk about Finnick, he was selling off Finnick to do to further promote him or something like that. And Finnick justified it, like he just started doing these things for people so he can get more dirt on Snow. But he was selling off them kids.
Ooh. Cause you want to know what's funny? Because I didn't remember anything about the original trilogy or saga, I thought he was Katniss' coach, because it wasn't Katniss' coach like that, but some blonde dude.
He was Haymitch, which is another winner of the Hunger Games. And he had it even worse. He had 48 opponents. Katniss and them had 24. He had 48.
Oh, he was slaying them.
But you have to think about the toll and stuff, and then like, who thinks of stuff like that? 48 kids, like, in this 48 kids. And
surviving though.
And the Capitol head, it's like, ooh, Hunger Games All-Stars, 48 people, this is gonna be great. But 48 kids?
I hate to always bring anime into it. They on some hit and miss village type stuff when Zabuza had to kill all his homies, or Kisame.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. It's crazy.
They evil.
Evil. But like, getting back you need to go back and watch the other 4 movies, just because I think it would be good now that you've seen the beginning, and now you can see the evolution. Like, what if all this, what all of this stuff has turned into, how the Hunger Games are so different, how they treat them, the politics and stuff that goes into it now, and like how everybody's betting, and like how the tributes they now have to perform. Like, the fighting at this point in time, the fighting is the bare minimum of the Hunger Games. In this movie, the fighting was the big thing. This was the main event, the fighting. And then we get further into the series, and the fighting is just the last thing on the list to do, versus the other 10,000 things they have to do before they even get into that arena. And you have to go back and see that Snow set all that up. And then when we even get into the arena and seeing the things that they have to survive and they have to endure, you have to just go back and realize that all started with him.
And ain't it it wasn't like the reward, like if they survive, they get to stay in the capital or something if they win? Like in the newer game?
They get they have made a neighborhood, because when Katniss and them won, they got to move out of the house they were in before, and they stayed in this area called the Winners something. They had a neighborhood specifically for winners of the Hunger Games, but it was in their district, and that's where they were staying at. It was called, I think it was called like Winner's Circle or something like that, but it was a neighborhood specifically for tributes who won the Hunger Games in their district.
I mean, at least they got something.
And not enough.
Not enough, but they got something. Like until they
But
win the war and beat them.
what's the cost though? The PTSD, the trauma. Now
PCSD.
I said PTSD.
I heard
I
PCSD.
said when I listen to this, if I did say PTSD, I will laugh. But I swear I said PTSD.
Post capital stress disorder.
Hey, but
If you
like,
said PTSD, that's kind of fire. Post capital stress disorder, that's kind of
but
fire.
I'm just saying though, like, what's the cost? Yeah, you gave me this fancy house, but now I got PTSD. I got trauma.
Mm.
I got. I know all of these skills that really I should, as a child, I should not know.
I know how to use a bow and arrow, a sword, a dagger now. Like I shouldn't have this.
Like I should not. Like I should be chilling. Like I was. Like Peter should be still baking bread with his dad, but instead he knows how to paint camouflage real well to hide from being murdered. Like what? But bringing it back full circle. I did want to get into Tigris and Corio because I found their relationship to be like how it switched, like to be the final nail in the coffin of Snow's character development. Because throughout the whole movie, you know, she's calling him Corio. Like they got this little nickname and they care about each other. And she's trying to tell him like, yo, you don't have to be like your dad. You don't have to be like these people in the capital. Like you can be a good person. And when I won't say it backfired, but like when everything happened in the districts and he came back with this new attitude and you know, the grandma's like, "Oh my God, you look so handsome. You look so great." And he looks at his
Just like
cousin,
your daddy.
and his cousin, he looks at his cousin. He's like, "What do you think?" And then you could tell that at this point, like she's truly terrified of him. Like the thing that she didn't want him to turn into, he's turned into. And that's when she calls him by his full name. She was like, "You look just like your father, Coriolanus." And it was like, yeah, like, and that was the final nail in the coffin. Like he's done for. Because throughout this whole movie, she was like, you know, you don't have to be like your father. You don't have to, you know, participate in all these games. Like, I understand you're trying to do this to get us this money, but, you know, we'll be cool. We'll be all right. You know, or you can still, like, we're no different than these people in the districts. And then it flips, and then it's like, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah. It kind of sucks because it's like it shows that there are still people in the district who they may not be like the freedom fighters and the social justice warriors, but they still acknowledge like this stuff ain't right.
But it's
This
also
stuff ain't right.
But then it goes back to our point about Sejanus. It's like it provides like it provides still like that level of dissociation that I was talking about. Because it's like, yeah, there are some people in the capital that see that this is wrong and they feel bad, but they're not doing nothing about it. Nobody's in the street protesting to stop the Hunger Games. Nobody's willingly taking themselves out to the district to see how life really is, to make a change or anything like that. Or like how we said before, like some of these people are poor. Like some of these people wear these fancy dresses and these fancy clothes, but they got 6 eviction notices laying on their desk. They don't have no money. But it's still, but because their kids aren't fighting in the Hunger Games, or whatever happens in the Hunger Games doesn't affect the capital, or there's not peacekeepers running around here knocking in people's doors, everything. We just gonna dissociate for a minute.
But it also shows that citizens, even of the capital, are probably scared of the militaristic capital, though, because it's like it's one of those things where it's like morally you're still wrong because you're benefiting from it. But then at the same time, if they protest, if they try to fight, it's not like the capital is like, oh, feel free to protest. No, you're gonna get off too.
It's that, and I think it goes back into that deep-seated hatred too. Like some of y'all weren't directly affected by the war. Like Tigris and Snow are different because if we remember from the beginning of the movie, they was running through all of that. They were seeing people kill each other for food, all of this other stuff. So it's kind of like, yeah, you were there when it happens, but some of these people are just watching it just to watch it. Like y'all don't really understand where this is coming from.
Right.
So on a lot of Go ahead.
which plays a part in how twisted Snow is, which is where like a character like him does deserve a little bit of, I don't want to say leniency, but they got to be accepted for who they are. He also went through trauma as a kid, who had to protect his family. He did go through trauma as a kid. Now,
but I
there's
just
two.
I
He
feel
could have
like
took
this
the path that helps, but
that I was just about to say there's two sides of that coin though. You could have seen how you could have looked at the situation you went through as a kid and saw how war affects children and their upbringing. And you could have used this moment to get rid of the Hunger Games, implement something new, or, be on the side of maybe we should, instead of uniting the districts through the Hunger Games and in this Met Gala experience, maybe we could unite them through something else. But you did the other side of the coin of where, yeah, I still think the Hunger Games should exist, but let's, make it more fun. Let's make it stop being about the war.
I feel you, but he's still a product of his environment. Like when you grow up in an environment like that, you're bound to come out twisted in some form of fashion. And he just came out twisted in that violent direction.
I would agree with you up to the end of the movie. Everything that comes after this point at the end of the movie, at a point in time, it stops being like product of your environment. You can't be 84 years old watching 70 plus Hunger Games, implementing all this stuff, and your excuses is, oh, I'm a product of my environment.
Fair.
Now, up to the point,
because Shawty left. Shawty left you.
Just because Shawty left you when you got your heart broke when you was 18 years old. My guy, you didn't got married, had children. You got grandchildren. Like at this point, it's not even about Lucy Gray no more. You didn't have some type of self-reflection, and you don't care.
A broken heart can never be fixed.
Listen, he ain't got no heart. He ain't got no heart. The moment he said, I'm going to find a way to keep the Hunger Games going because I need some money, that was it.
Hey, bruh. That man Snow, bruh. That man Snow.
I do like the way he started off first, because when we talked about the two sides of the different coin, we know which direction he goes. So we're kind of already have this opinion like, you're not going to do the right thing to begin with. But the fact that his character was presented in a way that he had that choice and decided to go the other way, I like the way that they
handled that.
Yeah. That it's not like oh, this is just what you learned and boom, 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 we ended up to this part. It's like, no, you had a choice and you decided to go the way that you did. And all of the foundations for each direction were set up for you to take this path. So it wasn't like, oh, just go to this good side because there is a good option. It's like, no, you have multitude of reasons to do good and you have a multitude of reasons to continue the way that you did.
He was beautiful. All I can say is, bro, he was a beautifully written character. Like, he was a beautifully written character.
Yeah, I like this villain origin story where it's complexity and it's layers to it. Like, I still don't at the end of the movie, I was like, I still don't like you. But you could see like the inner turmoil and you could see like the decisions he was like, you could see all of the elements leading up to that one final breaking moment. And I'm glad that they didn't make him like lawfully good the whole movie. Like, we understand like you have good intentions. In some instances you have good intentions, but you the same old Snow. Just baby Snow.
But that's the thing. That's what makes, in my opinion, that's what good writing is. Because I know a lot of people are like having issues with like a lot of current media and everything, the bad writing. But this is what good writing is. If you can make me feel something towards your character, if you can make me hate the character, not how they're written, just hate the character, you wrote a good character. That's a beautifully written character. I don't have to love every character.
Yeah.
But if I But if I instinctively hate this person, that shows how good you. That shows how much depth you gave the character. That shows how much great background and foreshadowing. That shows how good of character development you was able to put into your movie
Yeah.
/ book.
And I definitely loved like the Easter eggs and all of the references to the previous Hunger Games movie, and like what we were saying before, you get to see all of the influences of what led up to how the Hunger Games is now.
Which is what makes a prequel so great.
Yeah, so I definitely enjoyed the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't like looking at the book from what they did the full book in this movie. So all this, the part 1, part 2, part 3 business is the same way that it's laid out in the book. So I don't know if they'll make more Hunger Games movies. Like if they'll go forward, like what does Snow do next? Or if they'll go backwards. I can see them going forward before I see them going backwards, but this was definitely a nice like linking together the past and the present for the Hunger Games franchise.
Yeah. I gotta go watch the original saga. I could see the first Hunger Games movie, like the war, different characters, probably even see like a slight origin story for Viola Davis's character. I could see something like that, if anything, but I don't know what I could see after that.
I don't know. Well, knowing Hollywood, they gotta go what's most interesting. And given the fact that we already have 4 movies about kind of what Snow has already done after the Songbirds and Snakes, if they make another movie, he probably won't be the focus. It might be, I know I've been seeing a lot of people on like TikTok and Twitter saying that they would want to see Hey Mitch's Hunger Games. Or like some of the other tributes that they introduced in the original series, like what they had to go through, which could provide at least a bit more layers of, if we go to the older Hunger Games, we can see how more stuff has changed versus how it looks like when Katniss gets there and stuff like that. But
true.
I don't know.
It was a great movie.
I liked it. It was a good movie. Definitely when it drops on the streaming platforms, I will watch it again. I thought this was a really good written story. I thought this was a really good villain origin story. And I definitely just like how it came full circle with like starting with Lucy Gray Baird and how all of the foreshadowing of her character led to all of the things that shine through Katniss's character in the original series. So I definitely enjoyed that. So, but that was all I had for the mob review. Was there anything else you had, Ron?
Good job, Hollywood. Shout out to the author. Shout out to the writers on this movie. This was probably my movie of the winter. What else have we reviewed so far in terms of movies and shows? Did John Wick Chapter 4 come out this year?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, that's my movie of the year. But Hunger Games is my movie of the season.
This was on the top of my list of movies that I was waiting for, because I felt in my soul that this was going to be a good movie just because of all of the elements they were playing with, and I think now I want to read the book. I definitely want to read the book and go back and watch the movie. But what I've been seeing is that this was an excellent portrayal of what came out of the book.
And I love that.
But I definitely want to go back and read it and see if there's anything that I missed, or there's anything that I caught in the movie, but maybe the book will like explain it a bit more. So
I definitely want to rewatch it. I definitely want to like watch the originals, come back and watch this, see what you fans were able to see after, because y'all are so engrossed into the franchise. I want to see what y'all saw.
Yeah. But if that's it, let's go ahead and shut this down. So once again, Ron, I want to thank you for joining me on another episode of the Blerd Mob podcast. It was great having you here, having another good discussion on one of the... I don't know. I feel like this is maybe the second or third movie we had like a pretty good mob review. I know we've been doing a lot of series mob reviews. Some of the movies we did have kind of been like, and And then some of them been
Yeah.
like, yeah, we like this.
Because it was this, John Wick, Blue Beetle. What else?
We didn't record Blue Beetle.
We didn't yes, we didn't do a mob review for that. Oh, Ant-Man.
We did recorded. We did Ant-Man, Flash, across across the Spider-Verse, John Wick 4. We did the Super Mario Bros.
We enjoyed Super Mario Bros.
We did I know I just did the Marvels.
We didn't record Saw, right? We only did.
No, we didn't record Saw. I know
I think this is a problem.
I think out of those, I think the Super Mario Bros. One was pretty good. This was good. John Wick, the reviews we had for that was pretty good. And then some of these other movies we didn't do a recording for.
Yeah, but we did a lot. I'm going through our Instagram page now. We did a lot of reviews this year, and you're right. It was hella series. Series.
So I'm glad that this one turned out well. But like I said, thank you. Second thing I want to say is thank you to everybody who's been watching or listening. Whether this is your first time or 50th time listening, the watches and listens are always appreciated. Make sure you guys check out the description for our affiliate links to Entertainment Earth. Get you some Funkos, some statues, whatever your heart desires. A percentage of your purchase does come to us as donations. If you want to donate, but you don't want to purchase anything from Entertainment Earth, make sure you check out our Ko-fi link also in the description. That is strictly donations. That comes straight to us to use for equipment, subscriptions, and everything that we use to bring you guys these lovely episodes. So make sure you check that out and support the mob. And make sure you guys check us out on social media. We are on Facebook and TikTok at the Blerd Mob Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod and Threads at the Blerd Mob Pod. And you can find us on Twitter, X, whatever you would like to call it, at the Blerd Mob. And with that being said, this is the mob checking out. Peace. If I was to compare it to something, I would compare it to how everybody looked at the Avengers in Civil War. We've went through the Avengers, Age of Ultron, and other things where the Avengers is like, at the end of it, we were like, woo, they saved